Rachel, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Good to see you again.
You too, thank you for having me.
I'm interviewing you obviously for my Women in Film series, and I'm really excited about that. And I guess the way I'd like to start out is if you could share a little bit with me about how you got involved in filmmaking.
Sure. So I started off acting, as I'm sure most people do, and writing at a very young age, and then went to Penn undergrad. Got involved in experimental theater, which I loved, was really magical and fantastic, and my work was very spectacle-based. And meanwhile, I took some photography classes, which I really loved, and there was one Super 8 class at Penn, which was at the time, the only production class. And literally, the editing bay was under staircases, where it was like Alice in Wonderland, and you had to open this little door, and you like crawl in. This tiny, it was like insane. But I loved it. It was so much fun. And one day, one of my friends who had seen one of my plays was like, have you ever looked into film? Because your work is so spectacle-based, and I think you'd really love film. And I was like, oh, well, I love photography, and I love visual arts, and that's interesting.
Sure.
So when it came time to apply to graduate schools, California Institute of the Arts had a very experimental program, was known for it, and was the only school in the country that offered a degree in both directing for film and theater.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, that would be perfect. I get to do theater, I get to do film, it's experimental. And got there only to find out my particular program was not experimental, and there really wasn't much theater, and so was launched into this narrative film program kind of by accident. Okay. But I loved it. Fell madly in love with it. So that was how I found my way into film.
Great.
Yeah.
And so can you share with me your first directing experience?
My first directing experience?
Yeah.
That's a good question. My first experience, like, being in more of a leadership role rather than behind the scenes as opposed to a performer, was as a choreographer for a production of Wizard of Oz at high school, which I loved.
Nice.
I had so much fun doing the choreography. But I guess my first directing experience probably was in college. I was a theater major and took the directing track. Okay. And I'm sure I had directing assignments for class. I can't remember what the first was.
Right.
But
let's say maybe out of school.
Maybe out of school?
Yeah.
My first production out of school was called Painted Pictures. It was an original play that I'd written. Women's Theater Ensemble was a very politically charged theater company in Philadelphia. Okay. And they had a new works competition, and my play was selected, and I got to direct it. So that was my first professional experience directing the play, and that was so much fun. And
right. So what about I think you've won some script awards, right? Yeah. Let's chat about that for a second, because that's more recent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm primarily a director-writer. I direct a lot of things I haven't written. I direct a lot of things that I have written. So most recently, I have a script called Transformation Awaits, which is based on a short film, Neighbors, that I made through AFI's Directing Workshop for Women. And I co-wrote it with my best friend and fabulously talented co-collaborator, Jonathan Pope Evans. And so we wrote the feature version, and that feature script was selected for the Film Independent Screenwriting Lab and the Sundance Women in Film Financing Initiative, and won a grand prize in screenwriting at Rhode Island, and was a quarterfinalist for Nickel. So the script has done really well.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, and now we're partnered with Triangle Road Entertainment to produce it.
Okay.
We've raised a good chunk of money. We still have more to go.
Right.
It's like this boulder up the hill. We'll get there. It will get made. It will get made.
Right.
And then I have another script called Welcome to Camelot that recently won Best Screenplay at the Garden State Film Festival, and they did a stage reading for us. I wasn't able to go, unfortunately, I was heartbroken not to be able to go. But they did it in Atlantic City. Al Sapienza from House of Cards and The Sopranos starred in it. And I had family who went who said they just did such a fantastic job with the stage production.
Nice.
So I've teamed up with 2 producers for that project. So those are probably the most recent scripts that have gotten some attention.
Okay. And what about directing?
So I'm attached to direct both of those. Okay. My most recent film, Muted, which I did not write, but directed, sold to HBO. So that was exciting. And yeah, that's the most recent directing.
So something that just came up for me I was thinking about is how does one hear about all of these opportunities in terms of submissions and stuff for script and for film and like festivals and things like
Yeah.
that. Can you, I think this is probably the first time I've ever asked that question.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good one. Like people are curious about that.
Absolutely. Well, I think there's so many opportunities, and obviously the internet makes things much easier.
Sure.
But as a screenwriter, obviously like the Film Independent Screenwriting Lab, the Sundance Screenwriting Lab, then you've got the very prestigious festivals like the Academy's Nickel Fellowship. Austin has a very prestigious festival. Rhode Island's Oscar qualifying and their screenplay competition. So there's a lot of Blue Cat, and so those are pretty easy to find. If you just sort of do a search for like top screenwriting competitions,
Okay.
you'll get the list of like the top 10 labs and fellowships.
Gotcha.
As a director, the Oscar qualifying fests, there's I think 25 in the States. So if you just go to the Academy's website, you can see what those are.
Okay.
And then of course, again, they're like the top 10, South by Southwest, Tribeca,
Sure.
Telluride, LAFF,
Yeah.
Sundance, like everybody knows those, Cannes, Berlin.
Yeah.
But again, so accessible to find out those lists online.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of fellowships and programs which have been a tremendous gift to me, so I'm obviously a big advocate because they've helped me so much.
Okay.
So I've been supported by AFI's Directing Workshop for Women, by Women in Film, by Sony Pictures Television Diverse Directors Program, by Film Independent, by the Sundance Financing Initiative, and these programs have just helped me so tremendously. And those you can find, again, by searching the internet, but in the trades. A lot of the fellowships are posted in the trades. And the more hooked in you are to the community, so like if you're a woman director, joining, the Alliance of Women Directors or Film Fatales or any of these organizations that really support women directors, then you're going to see all this info in all the feeds.
Gotcha.
So just joining any groups that can help you with your career are going to post for you.
And you feel like there's huge support out there for that, especially with women in film.
Absolutely.
Oh,
there's
that's
so
good to
much
hear.
support, especially now. I mean, obviously I've been working in film for a long time, and it's palpable, the energy right now. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen overnight.
Sure.
But, with the ACLU suing Hollywood and more attention being brought to how abysmal the statistics are, I mean, I think within our community, we all know that the numbers are really low, right? 6% directors, 2% cinematographers are women. Like, it's disgusting, but I don't think the population at large is aware, and I think the more people who are sort of aware, the better the numbers can be, the more we can see change and help promote change. And that's starting to happen, and you can feel it. So I'm on the board of the Alliance of Women Directors, and have been involved with them for many years. And now you do have organizations like the Film Fatales, and there's a group called Women in Moving Pictures, which has also been really active, Ms. in the Biz, the Directors List by Destry Martino. Like, there's so many organizations. I just went to a coalition for a group called We. One of the fellowships that's been an incredible support to me is called We for She, which is also helping to change the numbers and create more opportunities for women in television. There's like this huge movement that you can feel happening, and there is like, I feel like we're on the brink of change. It's coming.
Well, because that's really important, looking at things statistically in terms of who moviegoers are.
Yeah.
It's women.
Yep.
I mean, we make up such a large percentage of moviegoers. We're going with dates, we're going with husbands, we're going with our kids, we're going with our girlfriends.
Yep. It's true. And you can't really ignore the numbers.
You can't, which is shocking to me that has been ignored.
Yeah.
Because again, statistically, when you look at, the numbers for films that have like women leads, or the woman's the hero, or what I'm saying, like
the protagonist, and it hits all the demographics, like that. When you hear these ideas of like, well, those the films directed by women or starring women, they're like these sappy romantic comedies, and only the women go see them. Not true.
No.
Like, and you can see it with like Frozen or Inside Out or Zootopia or Bridesmaids or like Heat or Lucy. Like, all of these films have like done so well and have strong female protagonists and hit many demographics. And there is, and even if you ignore how widespread the demographics are, I think it's like 51% of the population is women. Like, would it hurt you to cater to that part of the population? But when we're diverse, we don't want just romantic comedies.
No.
We want action, we want thriller, we want horror, we want temple, we want everything. Just like, there's different tastes and different people, and there are directors who want to direct those that are male and female. There are audience members who want to see it that are male and female.
Exactly. I'm really glad to hear you say you feel like we're definitely now on the cusp of, going over the edge of that.
Yeah.
And
I do. I
yeah,
feel like
I think so
you are.
too. I mean, even on my end of it, just I can hear and see, you know, some changes happening.
Yeah.
So it's good.
It's exciting.
Share with me maybe some of your favorite aspects of being on set.
Being on set.
Yeah, what are some of your favorite pieces of being on set, elements?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say my favorite thing on set is working with actors.
Yeah.
Because by the time I get to set, I do a lot of pre-production. I'm very organized. I do a lot of research, and I love collaborating. It's why I love film so much, because I get to be a collaborator.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of work with my production designer and my DPs and my ADs. By the time we get to set, I know exactly what I want. So I can really just put my energy on the actors,
Yeah.
which I love. I love working with actors, and every element of production is a gift, but watching actors bring something to life and
Sure.
being able to help shape performance, and you know,
Yeah.
I've been very, very blessed to work with some incredibly talented actors like Chandra Wilson from Grey's Anatomy, or Eddie Gathegi from Twilight, or Kelly Garner, who was in Lars and the Real Girl and Pan Am, and so many more that I can't even name, like Charlie Robinson, who was Heart of Dixie, and back in the day, Night Court. Like, I grew up on Charlie. So, you know, Daniela Bobadilla, like these amazing actors that are just so loving and generous and giving. Sasha Roas, Danny Woodburn, like amazing. Magana Tova. And so just working with them has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's my favorite part. Once I'm on set, that's definitely my favorite.
Right.
Thank you so much. It was so nice of you to take the time to interview me.
No, this is great.
Yeah, and I just love that you're promoting women in film as a whole, and it's so important because things like this do really help make a difference. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah.